First off, I'd like to say, although I do the papers every day, of course most of it, the majority of it's junk, and to distract you from where you should be looking. The other thing is, if you're looking or expecting them, that's any leader, to do anything for us, you maybe need to go and check yourself into some mental asylum, because they will never do anything for us. They may pretend to, which they do all the time. You know, they all promise the earth, and then when they get in, the same agenda of the black government carries on. So don't expect things to change if you're waiting for them to change them. If you want them to change, you have to be the change. And it's all right watching videos and saying, oh, how terrible it is. That time's gone. It's time to get out and start talking to everyone. Sitting there watching the movies, watching videos and that might be informative, but it's not stopping or changing anything. It's time to start talking. Now, there are many out there that are aware, but they're not talking because they think, well, no one else is talking, so maybe I'm the only one that knows about this stuff. You're not. There's far more are aware of what's going on than unaware. But while you're sat there not doing anything about it, don't expect anything to change. We have to be the change. We have to change. We have to stop talking. Again, don't give them too much, just a little bit. But it's all out there. I mean, the papers, for instance, they've got the Mail here. The Mirror, sorry. Trump lifts ban on elephant head trophies. So, you know, some say, oh, he's great, he's on our side and all that. And then he goes and does this. If you're waiting for it to change from them, you're going to be waiting for the rest of your life. New Hollywood abuse claim. Stallone, sex assault on girl 16. Vegas police report reveals teenager's allegation. If you're in a position of power or fame, the chances are you've been a dirty little scumbag. Mail. Queen and Philip rift over Diana. Queen said, but I wanted to give the order to kill her. Philip said, well, I'm the boss, now shut up before I bend you over and give it up your ass like I do to everyone else. Ministers blame housing shortage on mortgage-free elderly and declares, you baby boomers are so selfish. But Little John says it's a population crisis, not a housing crisis. Absolute depopulation agenda in that headline there. That's all that's about. There's too many of you low-life scumbags. We need to get rid of you. Again, missing guy, clothes found near cliff edge. From the other bits and bobs I've looked at here, as I said right from the word go, unfortunately, she's probably not here anymore. The scum. Free inside your very own 342 million old master. Well, if there isn't a 342 million pounds masterpiece in that paper, they want suing for false advertising. Now, if they said win, like it does next to it, maybe, but they haven't. They've said your very own 342 million old master. Sue him. That would be so funny to see everyone sue him and him go crashing. You know, I'm talking about the bloke that owns it, the Zionist Ashkenazi scum. I fancy an older toff. This is, again here, this is young girls are okay to be molested by old blokes. That's all this headline's about. Our crazy 13 billion foreign aid coconuts. Cash to West Indies palms, India yoga, LS in Philippines, African juggling. Well, yes, it's perfectly fine to give some money away to other countries, not to the actual leaders though, because they're just as corrupt as our leaders, our criminals. we need to give it, make sure it's organised correctly so it goes to them, it gets them, not like all charities, the CEO takes a massive cut and then all those working down the line take their big pay, and you know, usually you're lucky 3% of what you give goes to where you think it's going. The Guardian. Charlotte Gainsborough. This is very extremist era and I hate extremes. I don't even know who that is, so why should I give a shit about what she's got to say? The depth of Lil Peep. Rap's problem with prescription pills. Well, yeah, no one should be taking them, but it's the way it is, isn't it? And Mudbound is the end for whitewashed war movies. Well, let's hope it's the end for war full stop. Then we won't have to make any movies about it, will we? Not that we do anyway, it's the scumbags. Which is, of course, The Guardian. Cult of personality blamed as theatre apologises for Spacey. Inquiry finds star power led to failing at Old Vic. 20 allegations dating as far back as 95 revealed. Artistic director says unfair to say everyone knew. No, it isn't. They all know what was going on in Hollywood. Every single one of them, but everyone was too scared to talk out because they're worried about not working again. This is why Weinstein got away with it for so long. And it seems that any of those that get to be major stars may also have been dirty little perverts. Trump is a fascist kind of figure, says Stiglitz. Who that is Stiglitz? Daily Telegraph. Tinsel fondue, have yourself a very 70s Christmas. Judith Woods, bullying doesn't stop once you leave school. And no Mona Lisa, Mark Hudson on the 450 million painting. Well, why is that in the paper? Has it been sold or something? I think I read somewhere it's been sold, so that must be it. But if you've got 450 million to waste on a painting, maybe you've got too much money and you need to be sharing that amongst those less fortunate. Car tax dodging soars since discs axed. Well, if that's true, of course it's in the papers, so you take it with a pinch of salt. If that's true, why did they axe them? Well, that's because I like to think it was because of what happened at Tom Crawford's, where those thuggish bailiffs turned up. It turned out that the leader, the head, the one that climbed up this big over this bridge in San Francisco, I think it was, is claiming to be disabled. Yet he can go to people's houses, grab them and chuck them out with his mates. I like to think that's one of the reasons. In the side there. 20 claims against Spacey at the Old Vic. Was quite a well-known actor, now he's quite a well-known pervert. Down the bottom. NHS patients facing phantom waiting lists. Well, yeah, I suspect that is absolutely correct, because they just make shit up as they go along, and that's the way it works. May bows to the mutineers. So the Prime Minister bows to the absolute cock of shit. Times. How to fix the housing market. Let banks control it. Yeah, that didn't take long, did it? Urgent call for new divorce laws. Yes, because we need to break up the family unit. And it's not going as smoothly as we wanted. As some are still staying together even after they get involved in other things. But they're still staying together. So we've got to do something else to destroy the family unit, because divide and conquer has been our plan all along. And it's worked so far. Why should it be stopped now? Mugabe set to go as generals take hard line. So he's not gone yet, because last I heard he was under house arrest. And if it was a real coup, surely they says, right, you either quit now or we shoot you. But they're letting, yeah, there's more going on there than meets the eye as well. May prepares climb down on Brexit Day. Oh, so we're not leaving. Brexit's in there again, like I say, it's in every day. It's in one of the papers at least every single day. But there is no Brexit. Express. Fury at UK's 99 million aid to Mugabe, Zimbabwe last year. Now, if you remember, I think it was yesterday I ended one video, or the day before, I was saying how we give millions in aid to things like Mugabe so that he can buy his own personal jets and stuff like that. And there you go. It's in the Express, so it must be true. Although I suspect that one actually is, but there you go. Stop the foreign aid madness. Yeah, I agree. But then again, if it didn't go over there, it'd just go to the councils who will then... I mean, it's like Rushcliffe Borough Council, right? Years ago this was. I think there was 30 of the council leaders, or council employees, whatever you want to call them, parasites, went over to the Netherlands to see how their recycling bins and their other wheelie bins worked. When in fact they could have just crossed Trent Bridge and seen how the city council's bins worked. But no, they all flew off to the Netherlands, had a right good piss up, at our expense of course, because it's all done on expenses, which we pay for. Drink coffee to beat cancer. Just 3 cups a day cuts your risk of the disease. Well, that'd be, I would strongly suggest, if that's even true, that must be organic only, because if it's got all the, like the Nescafe, evil, one of the biggest evil corporations on the planet, after the UK corporation, America corporation, France corporation, German corporation, Nottingham City Council corporation, you name it, they're all corporations. Your council's a corporation as well. But if that's true, it's organic. I've also read that drinking coffee lowers your frequency by 10 points just by touching it, so it's up to you what you do with it. Hunt for guy. Man 49 arrested on suspicion of murder. The Star still doing this 20p 30p thing. If you look below the R, it's just 30p, but they're in big yellow, it's 20p. So messing with our minds, yeah, but with the Star, 90% of the time it's just about TV, as the main headline shows. Celebs fumble in the jungle. New series set to outsex Love Isle. So again, they're just chucking porn in front of you because they know that distracts you so much that you'll be watching the porn and not looking at all the pain and suffering that's going on thanks to the councils and the governments. No, you just look at the sex. Big Boy Rocking Strictly, so that's another TV programme. And again, the sausage rolls on Go Pie High, I don't know what that's about, and the murder quiz on Lost Teen. Metro. Selfish baby boomers stop new housing. Javid NIMBY. Homeowners to blame for keeping young off property ladder. No. There is no baby boom as such. And if there was, this is where it goes crazy, because if there was a baby boom as such, then what tends to happen is when a population is depressed or feels downtrodden, they tend to go and have a lot of sex and have babies, because that's just the way it works. Whereas if a population is content, they tend not to have babies because they're out enjoying themselves and going on holidays. So again, the government's to blame for that, if that was true in the first place. But again, it's part of the depopulation propaganda pushed out by all the Zionist, Ashkenazi, so-called newspapers. May takes charge of housing shortage. Well, she's to blame, that's for sure. PM's pledge. Well, so that's going places then, isn't it? Because she's pledging she's going to do something just like the manifesto. I'm going to do this, do this, do this. And then, of course, once I get in, I carry on with the agenda of the secret government. PM pledges to help young buy their own homes with building boost. Minister attacks older generation. So it's attack on the old, because we don't want them around. We can get rid. Hey, we could kill them all at 40, call it euthanasia, and then we've got loads of houses. There's loads of empty houses anyway. But of course, scums don't want you to know that, do they? Ditching car tax discs costs 65 million. Well, again, that's mentioned before, but you'll find there's hardly any cops on the beat anymore, because they're getting rid of the cops to replace them with private so-called police, which are just private thugs. That's all it'll be. G4S, of which May's husband's got massive amounts of shares in, and she's actually given it to G4S. Well, look, it almost seems like some sort of insider trading going off there. Well, that's because there is, and they're all involved. FT. Not a lot in here, to be honest. Main headline: Saudi princes pressed to sign over billions in exchange for freedom. Well, they shouldn't have billions. GKN plans up in the air following U-turn on newly appointed chief. You mean the corrupt bunch of things have appointed someone, and now it's up in the air because there's someone's perhaps not a fully fledged blood drinking, child murdering, child raping clan? Dennis Healy. World events do not occur by accident. They are made to happen, whether it is to do with national issues or commerce, and most of them are staged and managed by those who hold the purse strings.